Hi everyone, welcome back to the Denied by the Crossbar podcast. I'm Daryl, your host. Today I'm joined by Lee. How you doing, Lee?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm not too bad. So match week 5's finished. We're going to run over the key results, highlights. We're going to start at Liverpool at Anfield, the Merseyside derby. Liverpool make it 5 out of 5. It was a tough game, most competitive. Managed to get 5 out of 5.
Yeah, Everton look good, I think. I think it'll be interesting to see the reverse fixture. They look organised, they look disciplined. Moyes has really done a lot of work with them, clearly, and they are looking good. I think it's a shame that they didn't get a more creative goal when we've seen so far in the season with Grealish and then Dye. But it is what it is. They probably weren't expecting a win. You've got to be realistic when you go into these games, but then derbies are always exciting. I think the Merseyside especially is one of these ones that's always a good watch. Fair play to them though, for they didn't lose by a big margin there, so they held their own. But yeah, 5 and 5, it's a statement, isn't it?
It's a statement. It's 5 out of 5. Slot's got his team winning by not playing that well. They played really well in the first half, but Ryan Gravenberch, is he putting his stamp on this Liverpool team and becoming their most important player? Is he at the moment the best midfielder in the Premier League, do you think?
I mean, like you say, he's putting his stamp on it. Exactly, yeah. But if you're the best team in the league and he's your best midfielder, it's hard to argue the fact that he's therefore not the best, if not one of the best. So yeah, he does look good, doesn't he? He's looked good for a while now.
Yeah, definitely. You can take some catch in Liverpool. All right, we're going to look at the West Ham Crystal Palace game. West Ham with another home defeat. They lost 2-1 to Crystal Palace. What a job Glasner's doing.
Yeah, what a job Glasner's doing and what a job Potter's doing, isn't it? I mean, it's like the two opposites going on right now. You'd be so happy to have Glasner as a manager, and I think now West Ham have really got to be saying, look, what next week? Who have West Ham got next week? They've got Everton at Everton. They're not winning that game. They cannot go to that game and win. The following match week, Everton have Arsenal at Arsenal. So if you're not getting rid of Potter now, are you expecting him to now go and get results at Everton and at Arsenal? Seriously?
Yeah, but the word's going around that they've already started looking. They've sounded out people. What they probably will do, though, they'll probably let him play out the next couple of games because you don't want the new manager coming in playing Arsenal in their first game and getting thumped. So they might draw that out. You know what? That's what clubs are like nowadays. They'll probably long that one out for a few weeks. Get the
I understand
that out of the way.
But then, Daryl, if we're looking at these fixtures as they're going to lose them, I kind of get like you don't want to put the loss as the first game for a new manager, but at the time you're going to then give the manager 2 weeks of bedding in. He can see the squad play against Everton. He can make his adjustments, play against Arsenal. Look, if he plays against new manager comes in, plays against Everton, loses 2-1, 3-1, whatever it might be, then you can make the adjustments, go to Arsenal, and you can bring out your best squad that you've got, try something a little bit different. You could go to Arsenal and you could get a draw. You're going to be loved. Literally a point on that table is important right now. And if we're saying that Potter's going to go and lose anyway, what does it matter if the new manager goes and loses? At least then he's 2 weeks into building up with that squad. Because how long do you leave something like this for West Ham? They can't get relegated. No one can afford to be relegated in the Premier League. It's such a big hit. I'm just surprised. They look awful. They look woeful.
We've been talking about West Ham every week, and every week, to be honest, it just looks like it gets worse. It looks worse down there. You know, I know last week was, I think, a 3-0 loss to Tottenham, but this week, Tottenham have got a really good squad. I'm not saying Palace are not a good team, but Tottenham they've bought players. They've spent 50, 60 odd million, so you're expecting them to go there with a statement. But Crystal Palace, once again, they get the job done. Potter's fighting for his life. I think he's gone. I think he's more or less gone now, to be honest.
I think he's got to be gone. And then on the other side of it, we've got Crystal Palace and Ollie Glasner, who just looks fantastic at the moment, doesn't he?
On the way up. I think that's 15 or 16 games unbeaten from the end of last season, they're saying now.
Unbeaten in all comps. That's crazy. Community Shield as well. You've got to like they're
That's right.
having a lot of fun, and not a lot of people are really bringing it up. I've seen it in social media posts a little bit more now. You see it pop up where people are like underrating this whole run of form. But when you think of Palace, you don't think of 15 games unbeaten. That's a crazy record to have in the Premier League and across all comps when that includes 2 finals. Fair play to them. Well done, Glasner. Yeah, and if that continues, then
yeah, definitely. I think their biggest problem, Palace's biggest problem this season, they've kept hold of Gabe. I think their biggest problem is, can they get the manager signed a new contract? Can they keep him beyond this season where his contract runs out? You know, they're going to be circling. The big clubs are circling.
That's what I was going to say. When we're looking at some of these clubs and we're saying, are they going to get rid of their manager? United's one of these big ones. Well, if you're going to get rid of the manager, do you bring in the cup-winning Premier League experienced manager? It makes sense, doesn't it? And then you suddenly do that. And now Palace, they're going to lose Gay, they've lost Eze, and they lose Glasner. That would be a big hit to them.
That'd be a big blow. But we'll move on. We'll move on to some other relegation candidates. Wolves lost 3-1 at home to Leeds United, and they took the lead in that game. I saw part of that game.
It's bad, isn't it? Because at the start of the season, Daryl, we said Wolves looked a bit dodgy, but we weren't thinking this bad.
We weren't thinking this bad.
Me and you said they survive, but they're down there. They're bad. They just don't look like they've got the creativity anymore. I understand that they've lost some key players, but Ain't Nouri wasn't the reason they won games. Mm-hmm. Yes, Matthias Cunha was obviously an important player at Wolves, and he's a goal scorer and a creator, but they haven't lost everyone. Larsson's still there. They've got Chan still there. These are 2 players that have scored goals last season. Chan's been in the Prem now long enough. He's got quality in his finishing. Their midfield's still there, and their defence on paper, I think, looks okay. But then you watch these guys play, and they look like they would do well in the Championship, and they're really struggling in the Prem now.
Well, yeah, they've lost those key players, like you mentioned, but they've also they haven't bought in proven players. They've bought in youngsters that are 21, 22. You're not going to replace Cunha with a 22-year-old who's got no Premier League experience. He's got to build. In 2 or 3 years' time, and maybe in a year's time, he might be a top player. He's not going to replace Cunha's goals or creativity in that way, you know. But didn't they gave Victor Pereira, they gave him a new contract, which last week, a couple of weeks ago. I'm on 2 minds with. Is that a contract to secure him for next season if they go down, or is that a contract to tell him he's done a good job? How do you look at that, and what type of mindset? If it is, we're going to keep him next year if we go down. What kind of mindset is that for the players if they're seeing that? Do you know what I mean?
Surely it's too early in the season to be talking about relegation. That's admitting defeat too early.
This is what I mean. But
last season,
another year, isn't he? So why wouldn't you wait and see if he gets relegated and then release him? Or you're basically saying, well, you've had a bad start, but we're still going to support you. I don't know.
Is that what it is, though? Is that what they're trying to do? Is it, we're having a bad season, so if we do this, maybe does that boost the dressing room's morale? Does it make players think, oh, it's okay, he hasn't got a year left, he's here now.
He's going to stay.
There. The thing is, Daryl, we've seen Leeds beat Wolves now, 3-1 at Wolves. Leeds being a team that a lot of people said are going to go back down, being the newly relegated team. That's a game of football Wolves should have to win. That's a proper 6-pointer. That would be a must-win on the list.
Yeah, I'd agree.
They will not, well, in their current form, they will not go to Leeds and beat them. I don't know in the reverse fixture, that could be so important to them. If Leeds carry on as everyone's sort of predicting, I think that game made Leeds look better than they are. I still think there's a lot to get at them. But yeah, I would be worried as a Wolves fan. They didn't do well last season. They've lost key players and they haven't replaced them, like you said. It's a tough one there for Leeds. And then their manager, yeah, like you say, I don't get it. I don't understand it. What a weird message to send.
I agree, but you do have to give Leeds some credit. They did go 1-0 down in that game, so they showed heart and courage to come back. They, like you said, they are relegation candidates themselves. So to come back from, I know it's not a daunting place to go Molineux, but they've come back from 1-0 down. So
yeah, Calvert-Lewin got his goal, didn't he? So he's at a new club.
That was the first goal for the club, right?
I believe that was, the first goal.
Yeah.
So that's always good to get that pressure off your back. And he's a good goal scorer when he's fit. We all know he is. He's a talented lad in the Premier League. So it's good that they managed to get him. And if he's scoring goals, then that's good. They've got a very don't know if you've noticed, they've got a very big team. I feel like every
Leeds.
signing was over 6'1", 6'2".
I
They're
didn't
just
realise that now.
huge lads. Yeah, they're just big players now. The Statch guy that scored, is it their third? He's big midfielder, big German centre mid. Yeah, they've
I like
just gone
that. He
for
come from Gladbach, didn't he? He's a good player.
they've
Solid
just
central
gone for
midfielder.
big, bulky, tall players, and it might work. Who knows? It might keep them up.
Well, they've only got to win a certain percentage of games, aren't they? They're probably going into that Leeds game thinking this is one of the games that we need to try and win against a candidate.
Yeah.
So,
If you beat all the teams below you, you're fine.
Yeah, of course. All right, let's move on to Old Trafford. Manchester United beat Chelsea 2-1. Both teams had players sent off. Not the best game, but United showed a bit of resilience to get a decent result against Big Six team.
Look, Chelsea drew last week, and now they've lost against United. It's not good, and they drew against a bad Brentford, and then they've lost against United. Yes, there was an early red. Yes, it's the goalkeeper. That is really bad. You never want to see that. But at the same time, it's definitely the worst, and so early on as well. But at the same time, they should be of a quality where they can control a game. They scored, but it meant nothing in the end because United scored another. Obviously, Casemiro scored and then got himself his second yellow, which then makes what a weird game of football to sit and watch for that long, 10 men against 10 men. It's not normal in the Prem, is it? I don't know. I don't think it was a thrilling game. It was...
No, definitely what?
You're holding on at that point, aren't you?
Yeah, it wasn't a great game. Chelsea looked, like you said, they're inconsistent. Going forward, they actually look good when they're attacking, but it's just defensively, we've always said, we've said the last couple of years, with Sanchez in goal, he's not a Premier League winning keeper. I don't think they would be challenging for the Premier League with him as a keeper. If they'd got Donnarumma or they've gotten like a Mike Maigon or whatever, I think, they've had a chance. But with Robert Sanchez, I've kind of put him to the sidelines a little bit when it comes to challenging for the Premier League with him in goal.
They've got Brighton at home and then they've got Liverpool. And I think if we say Robert Sanchez isn't Premier League winning sort of quality, well then, is it Jurgensen?
Yeah, I think
their second keeper. Well, now we're going to see him play against Brighton, who have some good finishers, and then Liverpool, which could be quite interesting. So they've really shot themselves in the foot there because they've got a bit of a tough run. It's a draw against Brentford. It's a loss against United. You wouldn't be surprised if Brighton can get a result against them, and Liverpool should be keeping their streak going. So it could be a real tough one there for Chelsea in the coming weeks. And as for United, Amram's apparently been given 3 games, as the rumour mill says, and he's gone and won his first one of the 3. So Amram's staying. I hope all the United fans are well chuffed with that win.
Don't worry, we all know the formation. We all know what's coming. This will be all right. But I wouldn't bet on Brighton going and getting a result, though. Like you said, Brighton score goals and Chelsea's defence is weak. Listen, how much millions or billions have they spent on that team? Their starting centre-backs is Tosin, someone you know well.
Free from Fulham.
Yeah. Tosin and Trevor Chalobah, who, in my eyes, has never really been a centre-back. I've seen him play right-back. I've seen him play DM. I don't know if that's his best position, but that's their starting centre-back. I think that screams of, you can get at us. That's how I feel. Yeah. They're playing Fofana at right back, I saw on the weekend, and I thought, Fofana, right back. I saw it. I watched the game.
Funny, isn't it? Yeah. When all that money gets spent and, fans of football like us and everyone that listens, you're looking at some of these lineups, especially from Chelsea at the moment with the back. They spent all that money and they just don't seem to have a consistent back line is so important. You hear it from old goalkeepers talk about it a lot as well, and they'll be like, "It's so
you're familiar with the players you play with. You learn how their games
Yeah, it's just odd, isn't it, when you spend all that money to not have that shining star in your defence, as you said, Tosin, Fofana, Chalobah. Although Chalobah
is Badiashvili still there? Did he go out on loan? Or
he's still there. He might be injured. He's either injured or they just don't really like him.
But yeah, good results for United. They've got, if that's his first of 3 games, I think his next couple of games, I can't think who they are.
So he's got Brentford, which is an easy game, and then Sunderland.
Sunderland is not easy. Is Sunderland home or away?
It's at Old Trafford, but I don't think it matters. it's north enough for every Sunderland fan that wants to go to be able to get a train over. So I might as well call it the Stadium of Light, I reckon, for that game.
I love the
That's gonna be a
Sunderland
big
fans. They're so passionate. I love it.
I love it. I think it's fantastic. Everyone, I don't know why all fans aren't like that. You can imagine a big difference at Molineux if the Wolves fans got behind them like Sunderland get behind their lots. So I don't know. I think it'll be interesting for Amorim. If it is 3 games, if that's true, I don't know what he's meant to get out of the 3. So he's got 3 points out of 9 so far. What's he meant to get 5? Because
after those 2 games, the next 2 games, like you said, they've got Liverpool after that, I think.
Yeah.
I think there's another international break, and I think they come back and they've got Liverpool. So they might have given those 3. They're 3 winnable games. Or the Chelsea one wasn't a winnable one. They had a chance. The next 2 are winnable games.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we'll get onto it, but I think for United, I think they'll be absolutely fine with Brentford, in all honesty. I think Brentford have been a bogey team for United recently. But from what I saw over the weekend, which we'll talk about in a second, they don't have it. They've really lost creativity. But we'll talk about that.
Okay. Right, so we shall talk about your team. Fulham 3, Brentford 1. I think you was losing in that game at one point in the beginning, wasn't you? Good comeback.
Yeah, we were losing. We gifted them, sadly. Josh King really let one go and gifted them the goal. It's unfortunate. It happens. And for me, as a fan of Fulham, it's hard to see us go 1-0 down when, in my head, we've never really been comeback kings. Like, we just don't do it. But it took 45 minutes for the whole game to be spun on its head. And 3-1 up, a goal disallowed as well, could have been 4. We just looked, we looked the better team in a game that was a poor game overall, I would say. Bad quality from everyone. Everyone made mistakes. But I think from what I can remember, Brentford's goal was created by a sloppy pass from Fulham. They had a shot that was created for a long throw-in. And I think it might have been another long throw-in. So really, in that game, 3 big chances created by Brentford, it's just not enough. And when you're going 1, 2, 3 goals in at that point, you know, you've really got to bring something else to the table. I think it was 7 minutes added on at the end of the game. And for the last 20 minutes and then 7 more, just sat there and let them keep going. Just nothing happened. They just lost that creativity. And as much as I love watching Fulham beat anyone, it does feel great to have 3 in a row now against Brentford.
That's street threat against Brentford, right?
Yeah.
And Harry Wilson getting his customary goal, I see.
Oh, well worth watching. What a finish. He loves scoring against Brentford. There's something in that boy. He's fantastic. He's a wizard. It's great to see. And it's almost a guarantee now. I can't wait for the next fixture. If he scores in the next one, it's 4 in 4. It's perfect. He doesn't score a lot throughout the season, but he scores 2 goals every season, guaranteed, and it's against Brentford every time.
Yeah, it looks good for you guys. You're starting to find a bit of form now.
Yeah. He was replaced basically over the window. We brought in a right winger. Apparently, Leeds offered a transfer extension on deadline day to try to get Harry Wilson over the line. It fell through. So it's amazing to see that quickly he's already then playing for us straight away after all of that happening. He probably thought he was on his way out, still performing well. And I want to give a special shout out to Kevin, because we've done a record signing on a Brazilian name. We've had him before in the Premier League, Willian being the one I think of note. But now Kevin, watch your space. That guy, he's got some magic about him. He's got that proper Brazilian flair. Yes. Carrying the ball out.
Signing, yeah? How much was he again?
Yeah. 36, I think it was. It was around that number. Yeah, big money, you know.
Yeah, this big money is mate. It's a lot of money.
Crazy talking to a Liverpool fan about 36 million, big signing.
Yeah,
great result for Fulham, and it's also 2 wins in a row for us, which is significant. When you talk about the top 6 all the time, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but literally 2 wins in a row in a Premier League run is actually good. So when we talk about Palace being 15 unbeaten, it's mental. But yeah, 2 wins in a row, absolutely lovely. We go and play Aston Villa next week.
Nothing to fear.
Yeah, they've scored 1 goal this season, so hopefully we can score 2, and that's just 3 wins in a row. That really puts us in a good place.
Yeah, I've always rated Marco Silva. I think you can do really well. The problem with Fulham is you do the big teams. If you can get those results against the smaller teams like we're talking about, then you'll have a really good season. I think can easily be in the top 10, top 8, get into Europe.
Yeah,
that'd be a really good season for you guys.
Yeah, what you said, I second it. The win against Leeds, in my head, we were losing against Leeds. When it was 0-0, for a lot of that game, I thought, we're just going to let it slip. It's just so Fulhamish to let it slip. The Brentford game, after being on a bit of a bad form, wouldn't it be typical for Brentford to go and thump us? But absolutely not. They're the little boys that live down the road now for us. They can go play kickabout while we go and play the big goals.
The big talk's coming out. All right, we're going to move on. Just a quick mention to about we wasn't going to speak about it, but we're going to talk about the Brighton Leeds quickly. Brighton were 2-0 up. One thing I was going to say quickly is that ended up 2-2 draw, but Tottenham showed a lot of resilience last year. I think under Ange, with no disrespect, I think they crumbled out and lose 3 or 4 even,
It's all about adapting, isn't it, to the game that you're sat in. And when you're 2-0 down, there's a moment in that game where there's a conversation, whether that's Frank shouting on the sideline or whatever it is, but it's cool yourself off. You've got to play like it's 0-0, and you just got to get that next goal. The next goal makes or breaks this fixture. And we saw Ange, was it Chelsea? Was it Tottenham Chelsea?
You've seen that,
Went down to 10 men. They were losing. The highest line I've ever seen. The centre-backs were on the halfway line. Pushing. Crazy game of football. There's definitely a big change at Spurs. It must be noted. Thomas Frank is doing a very good job, as everyone knew he would.
Yeah, Xavi Simons came on and he changed it. He's starting to look like he's going to be a real star for the real number 10, a real star. But yeah, he was a big influence in the second half and them getting back into the game,
Yeah, very good.
Okay, on to the game of the weekend. Arsenal at the Emirates against Manchester City. It ended 1-1. Well, Guardiola turned up at Arsenal and he tried to play Arteta ball. That's what I saw, Lee.
Yeah, well, it was an early goal, wasn't it, from Haaland? And
good goal.
At that point, it was a good goal, but it was early. And at that point, in my head, we were going to have a very exciting game of football. Early goal, what? Is he going to go out and score another one in the next 10, 15 minutes? But I don't know. What is it with defensive football? It's an entertainment sport at the end of the day. Can we just get some goals in these big, fun games now? Because that was a long watch.
It was. What did interest me, though, that goal reminded me of the Haaland of Dortmund. That he laid it off, made the run, kept on going. Because with City, since he's been at City, we've got used to Haaland being that box player. When he's not in and around the box scoring goals, he's not really involved. But he was actually in his own half, laid it off, made the run, got it back and put it away, But I thought when he scored the first goal, I thought, right, game on, Arsenal have to come out. They're going to go in strong. And Pep literally went 4 banks of 4. Let's sit back and see what happens, Well, and
Arteta learned it from somewhere, didn't he, Darryl?
Well, I've never really. I'll be honest. I've seen Pep come to Anfield and play a counter-attacking, but never that defensive though. That was most defensive football I've ever seen Pep play. If I'm honest, I was shocked.
Yeah, trying to nullify the game, wasn't it? And it just got. Yeah, we only saw a change when Arsenal made actual physical changes in substitutions to bring more creativity onto the pitch. And actually, it was the substitution that created the goal and got them that draw right at the end of the game. We said it. We said it last week. I think we said it for a couple of weeks. Why is a player like Eze not on that pitch? Why did you buy him if not for the flair and creativity he brings to that squad? So what a surprise. You bring him on, a fully fit. He's played every game for Palace this season. You bring him in and you act like he needs to bed into the squad. But every time he comes on the pitch, he looks like one of the best players on the team.
Agreed. Yeah, I agree.
It's bizarre. I don't get it.
We've talked before about this defensive mindset from Arteta. It sounds a bit harsh saying defensive mindset. Maybe not a defensive mindset. Maybe we're talking more of a conservative mindset. Let's put it that way, Because when you saw the lineup, we saw Mourinho, we saw Rice, we saw Minden. You start thinking he's done it. He's done the same thing he did at Anfield. We're expecting to see We know Saka wasn't fully fit, so he wouldn't start. Madueke on the right-hand side, Eze on the left, that creative force. You expect for them to go for it. And I thought they played in second gear. I don't think Gyökeres got enough service. I know people are saying he had a terrible game. He had no service in that game. So what do you expect to strive? He's feeding off scraps, against a solid defense. But let me ask you a question. In that game, we know Odegaard wasn't fit. If Odegaard was fit, do you not think Odegaard plays? Because I was under the impression that they've brought in Eze to play, give him extra width as well, but more of a replacement or a backup for Odegaard. So I'm thinking if Odegaard wasn't fit, if Odegaard was fit, he plays that game, he starts.
Exactly.
So where does
Eze why doesn't Eze?
This is exactly what I thought. Why isn't Eze? And as like you said, I reiterate what you said. The minute he came on, you saw him. He was in and about. He was looking for passes, looking for this, and he created the goal from deep blind midfield, playing the ball over the top. So he has got those skills. I was just shocked. I think a lot of Arsenal fans were frustrated at halftime. I think if they didn't come out and if Arteta didn't come out and make those changes early, I think the crowd would have gotten his back, because I had a couple of friends that went to the game and they were saying the atmosphere wasn't the best. There were a lot of groans, moaning and groaning. They weren't happy with that the team we put out in the starting Marino, to be honest.
Yeah. I think that teams like City still have too much respect. Why are Arsenal at home giving so much respect to City that they're taking a creator out of their team to add a more defensive midfielder into the squad? Why aren't you, as the second place last season, the challengers for the title, the ones that keep saying that they want to go and win the title, why aren't you going and putting City on the back foot? Brighton did it last week or the week before. Go and take the game to City. Their defence is shambles at the moment. They're in a rut. People are talking about how bad Pep is at the moment. Why are you allowing him to be there in that game at any moment? Take the early lead. All right, let's say, look, you go out all creative, all flary, change that midfield, and you go 1-0 down like they did. I think at every moment of that game, Pep's game plan was to get that early goal or a goal in the first half and do this defensive thing. So whether or not you go down early or you attack and score first, it didn't really matter, did it? If you scored first, you were in a better position. If you conceded early, you did that anyway by being not defensive, but like you said, conservative maybe. But why are you respecting City so much? It's weird.
Yeah.
They're not the team that Is
They
it
once
Arteta
were.
respecting Pep too much?
Yeah, it must be that. We know how dangerous City can be. Obviously, last week they had a good victory, so they looked good against United. So you have to look at were they so good or were United so bad?
Yeah.
So they beat United 3-0. They looked quite impressive last week. I did actually think. I remember we spoke and I said, "Look, City are still in the title race. We know that. It's early, but people are discounting them. They're going to be there and thereabouts, regardless. They have got good players." But what shocked me was, I think it was 20, 25 minutes to go. He withdraws Haaland, brings on Gonzalez, and you're thinking, has Pep shut up shop? He's gone. He's just
he did.
I was shocked.
But this is the thing that we keep saying about Arsenal is, if you're going for the title, look at Liverpool. Look at the way Liverpool have been going out into games. Look at how you've been scoring. Your defense doesn't look good this season, but you're on a 5-game winning streak. You're the top team. You haven't They're
going out to try and win it. It doesn't matter if the defense is bad behind us.
Exactly.
We're trying to score goals.
People are criticising the defence, so you're not defending, you're attacking. Well, Arsenal, maybe put a bit more in your attack, because why are you going to Liverpool and playing how they were? Why are they going to City and playing how they were? Go out and try to get the results, because if you're looking now, are you really banking on the fact that Liverpool are just going to drop everything at some point? Because the gap's getting bigger. If you keep drawing games while the other team are winning, you're just going to get further and further away. I don't know. I think Arsenal have got to play Newcastle next at Newcastle, and then they do play West Ham, which is a bit of a easier game. I think the Newcastle game is interesting because they've been a little bit here and there at the moment. But I think if they don't get a good result against Newcastle, I can't see why Liverpool would drop form. It's just another gap being created early on. You're meant to be neck and neck right now.
Yeah, it just puts the pressure on Arteta. To be honest, the more these results,
so much on him.
Not. But then I think he'll release so much pressure if he just went out playing an attacking team.
Yeah,
and if you went out playing an attacking team and lost City 3-2, you kind of think, okay,
yeah,
we're trying to win this game. You're 2-1, you went for the winner, but you got caught at the back. Okay, we tried to win the game.
Yeah, it's fine margins when it's at the top. You know it as a Liverpool fan. You can lose the league by 1 point. It's literally points. Sometimes not winning the league hasn't been goal difference, but positions can be won and lost on goal difference. You've got to make these chances count if you want to be the best team in the league, and they're not at the moment anyway. They've got a lot of things to change.
One thing you do have to do to win that Premier League, and as any team in the Premier League, you have to try and win your home games.
Definitely.
You can go away and be conservative and try and nick something. At home, you have to win your home game. You've got to put that marker down. You come to your ground, it's going to be a tough place to play. As long as everyone knows that, And now, if they drew that game, they're going away to Newcastle. Listen, I think Newcastle beat them 3 times last season. Twice in the Carabao Cup and one in the league.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
They lost at home. I think Declan Rice scored a couple of good goals, or 1 goal, and they lost. Newcastle lost at Emirates, but they beat them 3 times last season. It's not going to be a tough game. It's one of those teams that Arsenal have problems playing them. Obviously, Isak was there, but it's one of those teams they have problems with that team,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. You saying about winning your home games? The best team that play at the Emirates should be Arsenal every week.
Yeah,
they should always be the best team. It's not the same with smaller clubs, but they need to stop giving respect to the other teams and playing like they run that gaff. And it's their game to lose, not their game to win, because that game looked like it was theirs to win. As in, they were going out with the whole thing like, we need to go and win this. No, 0-0 is your advantage. You've got the home advantage. They need to now put the pressure on you, and that wasn't what was going on. I know the early goal does sway that game slightly, obviously, but I just think, early goal or not, I think Arteta, would have stuck to his guns on that, and it was a bit.
Yeah, I think in the outlook, there's a few Arsenal fans that we're looking at. I think we're being critical of Arsenal. We're not being critical of Arsenal. My problem with it is they've got such a good team and they've got such good players. They've invested. Before we got Isak in, I thought they might have had, and they got obviously Hincapié as well. I thought they might have had a better window than us, based on that. The way they've made, got back up and got squad players for the whole team. We never got a central defender that we wanted. So until the Isak point, I thought they had a better window, a more structured, as in the players they bought. They got Eze, they got left, they got right, they got centre, they got centre back, centre midfield. They strengthened throughout the whole team, whereas we didn't. We were more attacking based in that way. So I think that's the problem. We're not complaining they're a bad team or Arteta's a bad manager. I think what's somewhat annoying is that they've got such a good team. I want to see them going for it. I want to see them going into these games, trying to win these games. They have to, because they have to, because they have to win. This is the big one. They've invested all that money again. This is their time to shine. They have to.
Got to be critical about a team that are trying to win the league that aren't currently performing to the correct level, and that's what they're setting out to do. And we're looking at this as we personally don't think that this is the correct mentality to go into games. They're not looking at the right quality. Maybe it's slight tweaks in the tactics and it's quite a simple fix and it's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. But if it doesn't, you can't blame the personnel. As you've just said, they've got more than enough players. Saka might be out. They have so many other players. There are so many creative players in that squad now that they can't keep using this as an excuse. No one's team stays fit for a full season. But what they do is they adapt. And I just think they're struggling to do that at the moment. There's a lot of reliance on Saka. And I think he can go missing in games. He can also create a goal out of nothing. But Eze can create a goal out of nothing. We've seen it. He won an FA Cup with Crystal Palace because that guy scores goals out of nothing. So it's not being critical of Arteta. It's just when you set your standards so high and we're watching week in, week out that they're not playing at that standard, you've got to say something. If Liverpool were doing this bad, we would be mentioning it. And if United now go on a 3-game win streak, guess what? We'll bring it up. Like, it just doesn't seem right at the moment, Arsenal. And I don't know what else they want to happen at that club, to be honest, because if I was an Arsenal fan, I'd be getting frustrated now.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. I think a lot of Arsenal fans are feeling that frustration at the moment. I heard that with a few friends of mine, What was your highlight of the weekend, Lee?
Well, I'll be honest, looking at everything that happened over the weekend, I could easily say anything in that Fulham Brentford game. I think the Harry Wilson goal, for me, is like the moment was just so good, and it's Harry Wilson again. But in all
It was a great
honesty,
goal. I did see the goal. It was a great
yeah,
goal.
it was a great. It just looked so smooth. It looked so good. But I think Sunderland Villa, we mentioned it, didn't we? Sunderland, the atmosphere, going there isn't going to be fun for everyone, anyone, sorry. But for Villa and the way that they've gone there, and then to be winning, not only that, but your Sunderland have the disadvantage as well.
Had a man sent off.
The man sent off. It's just insane, that stadium, and the amount of push. Talk about the 12th man. They've got it. They're the ones with that 12th man this season, because we saw it again. You're 1-0 down. You're a man down. You're against
That
Villa,
crowd,
who...
that stadium.
Maybe not the best team this season. Last season, we saw Villa playing very, very good football. I thought, when I saw the result and it went 1-0, I thought, Villa are going to do something here. They're going to score a couple, possibly. Absolutely not. The red card doesn't matter. They keep going. They keep pushing. 1-1. It's a result that at the start of the season, they probably would have been quite happy with a draw against Villa at home. But again, just that Sunderland energy, that stadium of light, passion. I don't want Fulham to play Sunderland, to be honest, at all this season. I'm not looking forward to it because we crumble under stuff like that. And I just think they are an absolute wrecking ball at the moment. I think they're going to have a lot of fun this season. And I've got to apologise because I think me and you both said they're going down. I don't think they are. I think Wolves go down and Sunderland stay up at the moment.
Yeah, I think we both got to change our tune a little bit because that stadium alive, mate, that roar, we talked about it a few weeks back, that crowd, it was a silly red card. It happened. They moved on. They never dwelled, and that's what I liked about Sunday. They just they rolled their sleeves up and they just thought, right. They didn't feel sorry for themselves. They couldn't not because that crowd wouldn't let their levels drop. Passionate. It's unmatched. I just love it. I love that. Obviously, they haven't been in the Premier League for how long? They're just enjoying it. They're loving it. The team's actually performing every week, gives them more energy, makes them, that crowd's just crazy.
So much credit to their management because that's incredible. And their fans are just, something to be, you don't want to mess with them. They have got their two next fixtures are away from home. So that will be interesting to see how different they perform back to back there. It's Nottingham Forest and Manchester United. So tough-ish games for them away from home. Yeah.
Isidore gets another goal, though.
Isidore looks great. Honestly.
He looks like a really good sign, doesn't he?
See, I was thinking this. If Isidore played under Thomas Frank at Brentford with Mbeumo and like Visser and all of that, I think he would have moved this window for 50+ million.
I was going to say, he'll be in that 50 million bracket for what we've seen so far.
He's in that bracket. He is a very good player. He will probably go soon. A big club will take him because if you're scoring goals in the Premier League and you look that good, someone's going to have to spend money to bring you in. You can imagine United doing it soon, can't you?
Yeah, I can imagine them doing the game for anyone at the moment. Yeah. Right, on the other side, though, we're giving Sunderland their flowers. They were amazing. As I said, come back with 10 men. But on the other side, Villa falling off. You're hearing stories of, well, I think I heard that Monchi left today, or he got the sack today. There's talks of they're not happy with Emery, obviously the start of the season. You can't really blame him, though. I think their squad didn't get enough investment. They didn't spend enough money. Then there's a bit of a fall-off. We've got Morgan Rogers and Ollie Watkins, who had, I think, there's 40+ goal involvements last year. So far, nothing this year.
That was their first goal against Sunderland.
And who scored it? Matty Cash, the right back. That says a lot, So they're struggling. They just can't get that forward line firing. Earlier on we thought it was a bit of a fall off because there was no Rashford, there was no Asensio, but they just don't look. There's no cohesion there. There's not. I don't know what it is. It's just hard. Emery at the moment looks like he's starting to look a bit, head down. Yeah. What can I do? He is a bit of a thinker. So yeah, I think I read a story a couple of yesterday that they're looking around as well. It'd be harsh on him though, because he has taken the club from where it was. Remember, what was that 2.5, 3 years ago? He took it from Steven Gerrard. They were near the bottom of the league. He's got them Europe. He's got them Champions League football. He's done a great job, but that's how football's so fickle. A few bad results.
Yep.
Even forget what you've done last year in Champions League. It's all about this year now. So I do feel sorry for him, but he wasn't backed in the market. I know they've got PSR problems, but I do feel sorry for him.
It's a tough one for him, but at the same time, you've got to get results, haven't you? It's a results game. And if they're not scoring goals, it's just not good enough, especially when they haven't lost someone like Watkins, where you could use that as an excuse. He's still at the club. He just isn't getting the service, and there's no creativity behind him. It looks so dry. It's really unfortunate from where they were, but it's nice for like a club like Sunderland to therefore be able to pin them back and get a goal and get a draw. Because honestly, at the moment, you would say right now, if you had to put money on it, Sunderland finished above Villa at the moment, don't they?
It would seem so. You would actually say that, yeah. I'd back that.
Which is crazy to think 5 weeks ago you wouldn't be saying that.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely not. Okay, that wraps up week 5 for us. Thanks, Lee, for joining us.
Yep, no worries.
And we'll catch you guys next week. Guys, drop comments. Let us know what you think of the pod. Let us know what you think about these games. And don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell button. Hopefully you won't miss any of the shows. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.